Hey everybody, it's PartyElite. Welcome back to our North America Pack DLC showcase for Planet Zoo. This will be our last episode in this mini-series as we are adding the final 2 animals from the North America Pack DLC. I hope you guys have enjoyed this journey with me. I've certainly enjoyed it with you. We've added some very interesting animals and created some, I think at least, very interesting spaces, but I would love to hear your thoughts, and if you have had a good time, please don't hesitate to let me know by leaving a like and perhaps a comment down below. Just as a quick reminder, I've got plenty of Planet Zoo videos on the channel. If you're curious about a specific animal, especially from any of the DLC ever since the Aquatic Pack DLC, you can pretty much search YouTube for PartyElite and then the name of the animal that you're curious about. And this series and the rest of this like sandbox series, I guess, should pop up and you should be able to find it. But apart from that, of course, we also have the, franchise mode Let's Play that's been going on for over like, is it over 200, well over 200 episodes right now, closer to 300 maybe? I'm starting to lose a track. It's been a long journey with that franchise mode Let's Play. So if you want to see more, similar explorations into cultural storytelling, into sort of deep dives into histories and things like that, while building spaces for animals that sort of technically challenge the game and myself, especially as a player, there's plenty of that on the channel. And I mentioned that mainly for those of you that are unfamiliar with the channel. Of course, there are many of you that have been watching along since Season 1 or the beginning of Season 2 of the franchise mode Let's Plays, or perhaps even longer than that. You might be familiar with what's going on the channel with regards to Planet Zoo. But for those of you that are unfamiliar with the channel, I do invite you to check out some of those series. You might enjoy them. You don't necessarily have to watch them from the beginning either with the franchise mode playthrough. There's a lot going on and there's still a lot to do, and we will be resuming that playthrough next week now that we're done with this DLC showcase. But we'll be back to this DLC Zoo if and when there is a new one being added by the devs. With all that said, bit of a ramble there, I suppose, but I wanted to just invite y'all to the rest of the channel, I suppose, to check out what else we get up to. But with all that said, I am really quite pleased with our enclosure today. We are adding a space for the California sea lion, and there is a touch of wordplay because I can't help myself, so there is a bit of that. But beyond that as well, I do quite like the overall shape we've created and the overall experience we've created for our guests as well. Throughout this entire DLC pack, we haven't once included an underwater viewing space, and this felt like the golden opportunity to do so. So I wanted to make sure we got that underwater kind of a cave vibe going, and that worked out quite nicely. I love building like ramps out of terrain rather than using the really sometimes hideous looking ramp of like the path itself, like when it's got like the sudden 30 degree or 45 degree, it feels like shift in angle, and you got that hard edge, and it has to like be above the ground. I don't like, there's a time and place for that, but typically it's not my favorite aesthetic. So I much prefer smoothing the terrain out and then putting the path directly on it. So I got a chance to do that over here. Typically I would spend more time getting it perfectly, like in that perfect shape, the perfect angle, I guess, smooth all the way through. But I felt like for this enclosure there were more pressing matters that were worth focusing on, and some I guess iconic and recognizable elements that I knew would take some time to build. So I wanted to make sure I didn't get sort of caught up in the weeds, I guess, and stuck on the wrong focal point. But actually working on that iconic element right now a little bit, trying to make it actually work with the the sea floor, I guess we can call it, for lack of a better term, or at least for lack of a term that's coming to mind right now. Trying to integrate it properly to the ground, and of course, yes, the seafloor as well, because it's a fairly strange structure in some ways, I guess, and I try to make them as believable as possible when I can. You might be able to recognize it already as I'm building it. It might have actually been in the thumbnail. I don't think I will have been able to help myself. It's always funny referring to myself doing things in a future past tense, you know what I mean? Like in this weird like tensing. Anyway, I'm sure it was almost certainly in the thumbnail. but we are making Pride Rock because it's the California Sea Lion, and I can't help myself from making the California Sea Lion King jokes. So yes, we're making a Lion King reference, except it's a Sea Lion King reference. You know, I think I've apologized enough times for that wordplay. I'm going to leave it at that. Beyond that, though, we're of course trying to make it a space that the animals themselves will enjoy. So putting down all the little, toys and games and stuff, and also using these rocks to make sure that we are actually enclosing the space. I wanted to kind of make a reference to some of the Aquatic Pack DLC aesthetic. For me, it was like kind of like coming around full circle kind of a thing. That same sentiment goes for the plaster wall that we built right underneath the bridge. It's very similar to one of our earliest enclosures we made in this zoo, which was one of the Aquatic DLC enclosures. And it felt like a nice little callback. We're making another aquatic animal, though it's from the North America Pack DLC. It just felt like a nice way to kind of tie things in and make the zoo feel a bit more, give it a bit more, I guess, continuity, I suppose, is one way to put it. Not sure exactly how I'd phrase it, but it felt like the right move there. And then it also it makes the Pride, let's call it, rock, feel like an artificial construct, because like I feel like the plaster walls underneath the bridge and stuff like that, I feel like it makes it feel more like an enclosure at a zoo, and so one can imagine that the Pride Rock structure here is an intentional inside joke by whoever designed the zoo, in this case myself, right? As opposed to pretending it's a natural structure or trying to make reference to, I don't know, something else that I sometimes like to do. I just thought it made everything a little bit more on the nose in that cheeky kind of a way. But yeah, I thought it was a pretty fun little, I guess, reference or riff. I suppose I could have done something a bit more culturally inclined or historically inclined, but I felt like, we've had a little bit of everything along the way. So it'd be nice to maybe add a bit more variety, I suppose, again, to our approach. Again, we've had indigenous cultural histories, we've had modern Canadiana references, we got the bayou and the kind of like American, it's so weird to say Canadian, indigenous, American, as if they're these monolithic things. I mean, there's the cultures, the spaces, the environments are so different, from province to province, state to state, and people to people. Like, it's weird talking about it in a way, in this sort of like generic, broad brushstrokes kind of way, but I hope I'm communicating my thoughts clearly here when I say I feel like we've covered, a lot of sort of cultural visuals. Let's say I'm having a hard time figuring out the exact phrase, but I feel like we've covered a lot of that, and so it felt like it was time to maybe come back to a more quote unquote zoo feel and throw in some of those a little bit of wordplay like I like to do, I guess. But yeah, again, pretty pleased with this space overall. The underwater viewing is nice. Well, Pride Rock, I don't know what else to call it, is quite nice. I'm pretty pleased with this overall, and of course we are also adding our habitat animal too. That's the American Bullfrog. I was actually thinking of adding it during the previous session because I'd created a space for it specifically in here, and then I was like, we'll leave it for the last episode of this mini series over here because I felt like it felt like a nice kind of bow on top of everything. And it also gives us an opportunity to come through and wrap this space up. The cool thing about this corrugated look is that you can be a little messy with it because it's like sheet metal that's been piled on. But that's pretty much the last thing we do in this time lapse is finish this space off, and then we're gonna add both of these animals in and hang out with them and just kind of chill. Hope you enjoyed the time lapse. It's time to head on back to regular speed, but let me know your thoughts down below as always. Alright folks, we are back from the time lapse, and I am pretty pleased with how this one has turned out. A pretty good farewell session for our North America Pack DLC showcase. Before we dive into the animal details and all that. Just want to mention really quickly, folks, if you've been enjoying this series, if you've enjoyed some of the construction we've done, if you've enjoyed the various cultural stories that have been told and the exploration that has happened as well from, technical and creative perspectives, and if you want more of that, well, there is a franchise mode series that's been happening on this channel that maybe you are already familiar with, or maybe you're new to this channel and you don't know what's happening. You might want to check that out, because there's plenty more of that going on with that franchise mode playthrough, with, of course, the challenge of it being a franchise series as well. But beyond that as well, of course, there are episodes covering each and every one of these enclosures that have been included in this zoo. So if you'd like to see how some of these got built and the thinking behind some of these, across the various DLCs, beginning with the aquatic DLC, you can find those episodes on the channel as well, and you can kind of seek out these various spots, these various constructions, the thinking and stories and everything behind all these, because there's some real fun ones. There's some real fun ones. I'm quite pleased with a lot of the work we've done across the board in our little mini-series zoo, let's call it, our sandbox zoo. Had a lot of fun with this, so just thought I'd mention that, because I saw quite a few of you make requests for animal enclosures for animals that we have actually built spaces for, particularly in this sandbox zoo. So I just thought I'd mention it. If you look up, on YouTube, PartyElite, and the name of the animal for any animal from the aquatic DLC especially, you should get a result that's from this zoo, in case you wanted to see how some of these got built. Again, really pleased with the zoo, actually. I'm really glad we decided to do this mini-series as a way to showcase the DLC. It's resulted in some very fun and unique enclosures and moments. But with that said, there is no more time to dally today. There's a lot to talk about. We are actually adding 2 animals today. So without further ado, let's take a look first at the California sea lion. And if I somehow managed to resist making the reference during the time lapse, which would be impossible because it's the whole crux of this enclosure. But yes, California sea lion, as in the California Sea Lion King, because I can't help myself. I can't. But yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at the Zoopedia entry for the California sea lion. But that's not all, right? We're adding one more animal today. You might remember. It might actually be in the title as well. But we'll get to that when we get to it. Very funny looking picture here with the closed eyes. It's like taking a breath of like that fresh sea breeze, like taking it in, basically, is the facial expression I see there. Anyway, we have the California sea lion, the Xolophus californianus. That's the only way I can think to say it. California, yeah, that's the only way I can think to say it. Californianus. The California sea lion is a species of eared seal native to the coastal regions of the western USA and Mexico, and Canada too, if I'm not mistaken. This we'll find out shortly, but I'm pretty sure it's in the western Canada too. I could be wrong. I was so sure these guys are like found all the way up in like Alaska as well, straight up and down the coast. But again, I could be mistaken here. We'll find out in a moment. The sea lion is usually dark brown in color with paler coloration on the sides and belly, although some females are pale brown in color. Young pups are different in appearance, possessing a juvenile coat that is tan and fluffy, which they lose for their adult coat when they are between 5 to 7 months old. Male California sea lions measure 7.4 to 8.25 feet meters? That's obviously a typo, but like, I was gonna say, even before I reached that typo, I was going to say this feels like the weakest of the DLC like intro paragraphs. It's so short, it feels like there is almost nothing being said here, and then we got that typo there as well. I'm assuming it's feet, not meters. 7.4 meters is big. It's very big. I don't think these guys are 7.4 meters in size. 7.4 to 8.25 feet in length and weigh 551 to 770 pounds. Females are much smaller, measuring 5.9 to 6.9 feet. Yeah, that's confirmation. This will be feet as well. And weighing 176 to 220 pounds. Oh, that is a huge discrepancy. The California sea lion is not endangered. I mentioned this last session as well. I do feel like the descriptors, or the descriptions have just been a little less dense for this DLC as a whole. There's never been that follow-up paragraph, just giving some details about literally anything. These have all felt a little empty, which is unfortunate because there are some interesting and fun animals. I feel like they could have used a bit more love. And I do realize I forgot to mention the areas of least concern, and population wild is 387,500. Moving on to the natural habitat over here. Yeah, that's what I thought, all the way up to Alaska. Hey, come on now, man. Show Canada some love. What is this? It doesn't even... What is... Come on. What is this? That's not cool. That's not fair. Look, I'm not like upset or anything, just to be clear before anybody thinks I'm like legitimately upset. But that is a bit of a bummer. It goes right through Canada. And USA, I'm just like making sure USA, Mexico, Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica. It doesn't even mention Canada. That's not cool. It's a little unfair. This is kind of funny because like all the marketing for the North America Pack DLC is also focused around like the United States road trip, like vernacular and imagery and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, I understand. But like, come on. This is why I didn't know this was a thing, obviously, but this is the kind of reason why I wanted to focus so much on Canadiana for some of the other animals, because it was, just felt like highlighting something that I feel like hasn't been highlighted or doesn't often get highlighted. And now that I see this, I realize maybe I should have done that for the sea lion as well. Well, hey, it is what it is, man. Just in case you don't know your geography, I can assure you that there is Canada here. The United States doesn't extend up this way. Neither does Mexico or Guatemala or El Salvador. This is very much Canada. Anyway, I've belabored that point way too much. It's just one of those things. It's like, come on, come on. I hope they patch that. That'd be nice. I would appreciate, as much as like, again, I'm not like upset or anything. It's just funny to me. It would be nice to see that get corrected. Either the map is wrong or this is wrong. Anyway, sorry. Moving on. Group size is 3 to 15, up to 5 males, up to 15 females. Male bachelor group size is 3 to 5, and female bachelor group size is 3 to 15. The dominant system is that males are territorial. Older males are more likely to hold on to quality territory. Interesting. Up to a point, I imagine, and then they get ousted. Mating system is polygynous. Relation with humans is confident, and guests cannot enter the habitat. This is a hilarious face. I feel like... Oh, this is priceless. Size, 7.75 feet long for males, 6.4 feet long for females. On average, of course, life expectancy is 22 for males and 27 for females. Typically, it's the same. Like 9 out of 10 times, the life expectancy is the same across the board. And now that we see one that's like different, it's very different. Weight is 660 pounds on average for males, 200 for females. Sexual maturity is at 5 years. Sterility is at death. Offspring per mating event is 1. Gestation of 11 months. Interbirth of 13. And reproduction is average. Fair enough. We might not see a baby California sea lion. Social needs. California sea lions are social animals and are often seen together in the water and on land. On land, they gather in large groups and assist each other in protecting pups. I'm pretty sure in one of my trips to San Francisco, by the harbor, like the pier, I saw a bunch of, I think they were California sea lions. I'm not 100% sure now. It was like, I don't know, like 60 of them. Like 60 of them camped out on like these kinds of things, just chilling and making an... Oh my god, so much noise. Reproduction. California sea lions come ashore and gather in large numbers called rookeries during the breeding season. Oh, I see. Within the rookery, males establish a territory and will intimidate or sometimes fight other males who encroach on their space. Now, these guys were all lazy in my San Francisco story. They were just chill. The larger the male, the longer he can maintain his territory due to higher fat reserves. This means he can spend a long time on land without returning to the sea to forage. Oh, interesting. On average, males will spend 27 days on land defending their territory. The largest males can be ashore for up to 45 days. Oh, damn. Okay. Just not eating for 45 days straight, using those stored fat, I guess. Females come ashore heavily pregnant from the previous mating season and will give birth soon after arriving. Females have a single pup that nurses frequently for 10 days while it builds up its body weight. After 10 days, young will gather in nurseries while their mothers return to the ocean to forage. Males may assist in defending nurseries from predators. Females will leave for 1 to 3 days and return to spend a full day with their pup to feed them. When females come ashore, they and their pup can identify each other through unique calls. That's interesting. When ready to mate, usually... Oh, okay, there we go. I was like, wait, hold on. What about the new mating season? Here we go. When ready to mate, usually 3 to 4 weeks after giving birth, females gather in millings. Several females in each milling are likely to mate with the same male and will disperse as more females in the group mate. Okay, millings are usually between 2 to 20 individuals. Females initiate courtship by presenting themselves in submissive postures in front of the male. Copulation may occur on land or in water and may last several minutes or up to 2 hours. The female ends copulation by turning her head and biting the male's neck. I often don't chuckle at these, but that was so abrupt. It's just like out of nowhere. It's like, yeah, you know, so this is how it goes down. And also, by the way, when the female is done, she just turns around and bites the male's neck. It's just the abruptness of it was chuckle worthy. Although female sea lions may mate very soon after giving birth, the fertilized egg often undergoes delayed implantation, meaning they do not become pregnant for up to 3 months after mating. Wow. Pregnancy lasts 8.5 months. While they're engaging in courtship with males, females will still be supporting their pup. Pups are provided for by the mother until they shed their pup coat and can go in the water. Pups begin learning to forage at sea around 7 months old. They're fully weaned by 1 year old when their mother is likely to give birth again. California sea lion females reach sexual maturity at 3.5 years old. Males reach sexual maturity at 5 years old, but may take longer to mate while they build up their body mass to enable them to defend a territory. Males may not mate for the first time until they're 9 years old. Wow. So, is there no mating... No, there should be a mating season. Because it did mention a previous mating season. Yeah. So there is a mating season. That's interesting. So they come ashore, they give birth, and then they immediately mate again, and then they come back, I guess, next year for the same process to loop. One thing I'm curious about, actually, is all the separate, like, group names. You've got your... I mean, I imagine they have the name for the collective noun for the California sea lion, right? And then you've got your rookeries, which is when they come ashore. And then you've got your nurseries, which, fine, I wouldn't call that so much as a collective noun as it is just like the term we use for that kind of thing, I guess. But the fact that they have a nursery kind of a thing is interesting. And then we've got millings separately as well. Like, I'm curious why we have these like separate names. Like, why, in fact, is it called, I need to look up the word milling, I guess, apart from like milling about, I don't know. But why is it called a milling as opposed to, you know, the word that typically gets thrown around, which is the harem, right? So I'm a little curious. Anyway, I'll some stuff to look into. Let's take a look at research status over here. I don't think there is anything unique. No, there is not. Fair enough. Fun fact number 1, California sea lions are the fastest species of seal. They can swim at speeds of up to 25 miles an hour. Wow, that's wild. Fun fact number 2, California sea lions have been known to dive to depths of 904 feet and can remain underwater for 10 minutes. Yeah, if you're going to dive that deep, you're going to need at least 10 minutes to come back up. Wow. 904 feet. At what point do you start suffering from, like, you know, the pressure change and stuff? The thing about, like, deep diving, like deep sea diving, is like you can go down, like, relatively quickly, but on your way up, you have to, like, pace yourself, because otherwise the sudden shifts in pressure can cause all sorts of trouble. For humans, at least. I wonder if the California sea lion has either a protective, like, measure for that, like, built in, or if 900 feet isn't deep enough. 900 feet sounds ridiculously deep, though. That is wild. 900 feet. Holy crap. Again, I wish this was in meters, so I had a better kind of inclination. 900 feet. So I can do height in feet and inches, but longer distances, 275.5 meters, give or take. Jesus. That's like 50 meters off the height of the Eiffel Tower. If I recall correctly, the Eiffel Tower is 321 meters. So it's not too far off. 324 meters. I just looked it up. 321 is what I remembered as an approximate, because 321 is like an easy number to remember. Anyway, that's kind Kind of deep. Fun fact number 3, California sea lions are used by the U.S. Navy in search and retrieval operations to recover military devices. Okay, I did know this. It's pretty impressive and interesting. Fun fact number 4, unlike other sea lion species, the California sea lion does not have a pronounced mane, and yet it calls itself a lion. And fun fact number 5, as opposed to true seals, California sea lions and other eared seals are adapted for movement on land and in the water. The bone structure in their limbs allow them to utilize front and hind flippers for walking. I didn't realize it was that distinct. Fair enough. No interspecies enrichment. And before we... Well, why don't we go ahead and actually... What? No. Let's... Yeah, I love this. I love that button. It's a great button. Thomas, adopt you. And 2 Arias. Sure. The trade center. Let's go ahead and get them all coming through. And while they're coming through, well, I'm not actually going to unpause, but I just want to get that done so we could then move on to our next enclosure, which is... Where are we? Like, kind of tell where we are. The little sliver there. There we go. Over here. Where we're going to add the Bullfrog. Every time I think of the word Bullfrog, I think about the game dev company from way back when. They made some excellent video games back in the day. Bullfrog. Rest in peace. American Bullfrog. Lithobates. Catspianus? Jesus, I don't know. Oh, Anus. Yeah, you know what? I just realized. California sea lion is probably Xylophus californianus. That's probably what it is. Probably not Californianus. Californianus is probably what it is. There you go. You live and you learn. Look, I don't speak Latin. American Bullfrog. Least concern. Population wild is unknown. They are absolutely adorable, as you can see. The American Bullfrog. How do these guys have like the largest blurb from this DLC? The American Bullfrog is a large species of amphibian that lives in the swamps, ponds, and lakes of the USA and Canada. Depending on its environment, it may be dark green, pale or pale brown dorsally with a paler colored belly. It may have darker spots on its back and a banding pattern on its legs, although some variations of the bullfrog have no pattern. The American Bullfrog is sexually dimorphic. Females are larger than males, and males have distinctive yellow coloration on their throat and a much larger tympanum, the ovular hearing gland, on the sides of their heads. The American Bullfrog measures between 3.5 to 6 inches in length and weighs 10.5 to 17.6 ounces. That's not small, half a foot at its largest. It's not small. The American Bullfrog is not endangered, but is an invasive species in South America, Western Europe, Southeast Asia, Japan, and China. Population control measures have been introduced in areas where the American Bullfrog is a problem to prevent damage to the native wildlife because of the bullfrog's opportunistic feeding habits. Damn. I imagine it was like exotic pet trade stuff that caused this to happen. Natural habitat. There you go. It's a very distinct and sudden line there. Look at that. There you go. Temperate and aquatic. I mean, again, we need to concern ourselves with these specifically, but we'll do that once we actually get the animal in there. Species data, let's see. Group size 1 to 4. Dominance none, though males may fight during mating season, and mating system is polygynous. Cool. Size 4 inches on average for males, 5.2 for females. Life expectancy is 8 years across the board on average, and weight is 17.5 ounces across the board on average as well. Sexual maturity is at 4 years. Sterility is at death. Number of offspring per mating event is 1 to 2. Gestation is 3 months. Interbirth is 9. And reproduction in captivity is difficult. That's a bummer. But it's not like baby bullfrogs are going to be a thing anyway. They just, if I recall correctly, they just become adults when they're habitat animals, right? Social needs. American bullfrogs will tolerate each other if there is enough space. They're known to gather in large groups during the breeding season, but males are often aggressive towards each other. Reproduction. Oh, this is a very dense section. American bullfrog males usually participate in 2 types of mating strategy. During the breeding season, males will establish and defend a territory of 32 to 64 square feet, wow, at a breeding site such as a swamp or pond, and croak to attract females and fend off rival males. This method of breeding is likely to happen when population density is low. Many males are likely to gather in the same area and vocalize. The extensive amount of croaking is called a chorus. This is believed to be because the louder and more numerous calls will attract more females. This method of breeding is likely to happen when population density is high. Interesting. So it's like almost like working together to have a louder voice to draw the females in, and then it's fight night, I guess, and all the males just kind of like beat each other up to be the one that walks away with a female. I guess it's kind of like what it sounds like. Versus here, where it's like when there's a low population density, you can't really team up to attract the mates and stuff, I guess. Males will remain at the breeding site for the entirety of the breeding season in order to maximize their chance of mating multiple times. Females will visit the breeding site and only mate once. Usually, all her eggs are fertilized by the same male. Oh, that means sometimes it's not. Females will lay their eggs during copulation, and fertilization happens externally. Okay. Spawn forms a floating sheet about 10 feet square in size. Oh, reading that sentence made my skin crawl. Spawn forms a floating sheet. That's such a... That sounds unpleasant. Eggs will hatch 3 to 5 days after being laid. Tadpole growth is dependent on temperature and environmental conditions. Tadpoles may take anything from 6 months up to 3 years to develop into froglets. Wow! Froglets may take another 2 years to become large enough to become a desirable mate, and are likely to mate for the first time between 3 to 5 years old, depending on how old they were at metamorphosis. Wow! Between 6 months and 3 years for that step? That is a huge discrepancy. That is massive. That's awesome. Insane. As far as parts, I mean, I guess the mangrove root is different, right? I don't recall seeing that elsewhere. And the large rock maybe as well. Again, these guys don't get too much attention, truth be told, so it all feels a little fresh. Fun fact number 1, American bullfrogs lay approximately 20,000 eggs during each reproductive event. Wow. Fun fact number 2, the American bullfrog is hunted for its legs in southern USA, which are a source of food. The go-to for frog legs, I guess. Never had frog, actually. I've heard it described as tasting like chicken, but I feel like anytime folks don't know how to describe the flavor of some kind of like meat, protein in general maybe, like it tastes like chicken is like the go-to. And it always makes me think of that line from The Matrix, from the first Matrix movie, where Mouse is like, I forget the exact words, but it's like, everybody says everything always tastes like chicken. What if chicken just tastes like everything? It's just like, I don't know. I love The Matrix, so I'll often have quotes from it in my mind, but things tasting like chicken will always remind me of The Matrix. Anyway, yeah, I guess it's a source of frog legs. Makes sense if they're so numerous. Fun fact number 3. The American bullfrog is so named because the mating call of the male sounds like a bull's bellow. You know what? That's a good fun fact. I actually didn't know why it was called a bullfrog, and I never even thought to ask, but that's a good answer. Fun fact number 4, the American bullfrog can thrive in water temperatures between 59 and 86 degrees Fahrenheit, whatever that means. However, tadpoles will begin to develop with abnormalities if water temperatures get higher than 89.6 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, now I need to know that number. What is that number? I wish, depending on your game settings, it would change it between Fahrenheit and Celsius. 32 degrees Celsius. Gotcha. Okay. Oh, interesting. I mean, parts of the map there, I'm sure, hit 32 degrees Celsius. Well, I guess if you're not a tadpole, but if it's taking you 6 to 3 years to become a froglet, I'm sure there's room for abnormalities. Interesting. I assume that only happens in non-ideal circumstances, though, to avoid abnormalities, I assume. Fun fact number 5, the American bullfrog is a generalist predator that has been known to capture and eat bats, birds, and tarantulas. I have no words. Okay, wow. This guy's a lot. I mean, really, 6 inches, bats, tarantulas. Tarantulas get big. They get real big. Birds, I mean, there's some smaller birds, but even then, like, they're eating things like 1.5 times their size. No wonder they're problematic where they're an invasive species. I was like, I was thinking like, like flies, bugs, they're important in maintaining an ecosystem. As much as they might bother us, they're very important, blah, 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 blah. But if they're eating goddamn birds and spiders, then yeah, okay, that's a bit of a... literally a bigger deal. Let's go ahead and get... Varden. I like that name. And Birdine over here. Well, not fertile. I do like the bird. It's like named after the desire to hunt birds down. Bianca, oh, not very fertile, are they? Over to the trade center. Let's go ahead and send you both into there. There we go. Nice little space here. Oh, would you look at that? I do like they just get teleported in. Alright, that's pretty cute. Let's go ahead and unpause. Look at that. While we're waiting for our other animals to arrive, right? The sea lions. Until we can see lions, let's see frogs. Am I right? I wish the camera had more like fine movement when you're this zoomed in. Nope, that is not finer movement. I was like, oh, there is an alternate camera mode. Where's your counterpart? There you are. There's like at opposite ends here. Not complete opposites, they could be at more opposite ends, I suppose. Let's make sure the like climate and stuff here is okay. Pull that up a bit. 23 to 29. There we go. All this is good. Layout. And that lamp. Where's this rock? Oh, there we go. Couple submerged logs. This is a nice space. I quite like this little enclosure here, habitat, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, there we go. That's nice. This tree over here is kind of like all up in here. Why don't we move you out? Tiny bit. There we go. Ah, it's better. It's not perfect. I kind of don't mind it because it's like visually it looks like it matches the space. Yeah, that's better. You can actually see what's going on here. Cool. Let's go ahead and take a look at our... Well, actually, hold on. Before we do that, I kind of don't want to get rid of... Oh, hey, look. Someone's actually using the maze. Wild. Good for you. It's been suggested that I, like... Wait, do we have a... Can't remember how many I brought in. They're all still stuck here, eh? Okay. Let's go ahead and clear up some space then. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this and this. Just to try and build a space that they can like run around in, maybe. I know it kind of breaks the maze. It's not the end of the world. But I'm hoping this encourages them to move around a little bit or something. Something, you know? Alright, back up over here. Where are we? There we go. Where are you guys? Oh, like perfect timing. This guy's just arriving, I think. Good stuff. Pretty pleased with this space overall. Pretty pleased with the space overall. And I'm pretty pleased with, again, I love doing these kinds of ramps now that I've kind of learned how to do them. This is not my smoothest ever, but I do quite like how they look and feel. There we go. Hey, buddy. How do you feel about your space here? I had a feeling way too much long grass, way too much short grass. Need much more sand. Okay, that's what I thought. I was fairly confident, that's why I added some over here, but I didn't realize just how much sand I would want. And the answer is all of it. Everything needs to be sand. Where do we have... Oh, more long grass somewhere. They're not fans of that. Where is the long grass actually within their enclosure? Guess there might be some underneath here. Yeah. What is this important alert? Come on. Yeah, it's become a constant problem because there's so many of them. They're just hungry. At least through the wild, let's go. Left with only a handful as a result. Hopefully that's enough. We'll see. Alright. Sorry, back to you. Make sure you're having a good time here. Try not environment, but terrain. Still a little, I mean, they're mostly happy, but still just a little bit too much. And I think it's because of base down here. What about rock? Yeah, I wouldn't mind more rock. Go ahead and get larger, more intense. There we go. There's long grass here somewhere. Go ahead and get more rock down over here, maybe. I just want that to be green. It's so close. Not enough sand now. Get there, we'll get there. Come on. We're like 1% off over here, and I can't imagine for the life of me. There we go, beautiful. Down there, clearly. Alright, how else do you feel? What else is going on? What can you reach? You cannot get into the water. Well, that's not good. Do they not need to swim at all? That'd be some... Because they have underwater feeders. Surely they like swimming. Why don't we go ahead and... get rid of that. Move this out a bit. Do that. They should be able to get in there. Come on, buddy. Look at that run. There we go. He's staring at the wall over here. Come on. Yeah, you know, there's something about this shape that kind of matches the head. It's so funny looking. Into the water we go. There we go. Beautiful. Sea Lion King. God. I have no regrets. This duck is like right in the middle of my shot there. There we go. Amazing. Amazing. I could not have asked for like a better like shot for our thumbnail. That's gotta be it, right? That's gotta be it. He just popped his head out at the perfect spot. That's pretty good. You know what? Yeah, I'm pretty pleased with how this is looking. I kind of want to get that the stone structure in the thumbnail too. As I'm pretty pleased with how this is looking though. That fill light in there. Alright, what are all these notification sounds? These guys, are we okay? I think we're okay. Not the end of the world anywhere. Yeah, we're okay. Alright. Good stuff. Now, really quickly, I want to check actually. Where are we? Up over here? Are these guys moving around? Oops. I don't get it. They're still just chilling over there. Weird. Weird. And I don't think we've ended up getting a... We have! We got a moose baby! Yes! Oh, you're cute, aren't you? Very cute. By the way, to all of you that were pointing out that the mass discrepancy between the male and female moose is probably a result of the antlers, listen. I'm aware. I just didn't realize it would be that much of a difference. It threw me off, is what I'm saying. It threw me off. Oh, you are really cute. I'm glad we were able to get a moose baby. It is most pleasing to the eye. Alright, buddy. Back to our sea lions. I wonder what they'll get up to. I wonder if we'll see anything particularly special out of them. I like seeing the interactions with things like, you know, these toys and all that. So I'm hoping to catch something. Wow. Oh my god. It's a Jesus fish. Wait, hold on. That's an actual thing. Oh, look at that. A little deep dive there. Wait. Oh yeah, we do have 3 of you. I was like, where did the third one come from? Right, we have 3 of them. This is great. Oh, this is great. The deep water swimming stuff that they added to the game was huge. I'm so glad they did that. It really adds so much. Makes these underwater viewing spots more valuable as well, you know? Oh, would you look at that? I don't know if you caught it. But Buddy came up through the gap there. Oh, and back down in. Cool. All right. Glad we saw that happen. To an extent. That was great. I love their walk. It's so funny. Yeah, I'm talking about you walking funny. Turning his back to me. Fair enough, fair enough. I deserve that. This is great. Okay, this has worked out perfectly. I was a little worried when it said they didn't have water requirement. I was like, yeah, they don't have a requirement, but they can surely. They're big on swimming. I was worried we wouldn't see too much action down over here, especially after the effort we made to build the underwater viewing. But look at that. Beautiful. I love it. Absolutely love it. This is fantastic. So much more than animals that actually need underwater, you know, movement space and stuff. Look at that. I mean, it's not 900 feet, but they seem to be enjoying it. I love this. This is great. Oh, did you see that? This is great. I love this. This is great. I have no words. I'm enjoying this thoroughly. I'm enjoying this thoroughly. All right, let's take a moment away from our sea lions here, though, and see how our bullfrogs are doing. They've left their pads over here. Hanging out over here now. Okay, fair enough. I've never actually... I don't know if I've ever caught them moving, you know? I've seen... actually, no, I have seen some of the smaller, like... what do they call? Like, habitat animals or whatever moving around. But not any of the frogs. They always seem to be, like, stationary. It's like when the camera looks away, they teleport to a new location, and then when you come back, they're just at that new location, you know? Well, that's fun. That's fun. These guys seem to be having a good time, too. That's good. Oh, you coming up top here? Come on. Come on, buddy. Or are you just gonna, like, walk on water again? Alright. Looks like these guys have, Oh, come on. Nah, I guess not. Alright, folks. Oh, of course we miss it when it happens. Or wait, no, you're just walking on water. It's so hard to tell. Some funny glitches in this game from time to time. It's not the end of the world, but it is. These guys walking on water is definitely one of the weirder ones to watch. There we go. Gonna have a lie down, you're just gonna dive back in. Just gonna dive back in. Alright, fair enough. Fair enough. Folks, I think this is where we call it. These guys seem to be pretty pleased with their space. I'm pretty pleased with their space as well. Very happy with how this has turned out. Very happy with how all of these have turned out, actually. Like, I'm really glad that I got to experiment with a couple of different ideas. I'm really glad I got to talk about various Canadian factoids and all sorts of Canadiana. We did a lot of very strange things at times, and made things that were, you know, accurate to nature versus things that were you know, referential to cultural histories. We got a lot of adorable animals in. Oh my god. Even when they're just a ball of fur. Well, maybe especially when they're a ball of fur, they're adorable. But yeah, we had a bit of wordplay go down. This was a fun DLC overall to explore and experiment with. A little curious about how these guys are kind of all stuck here. Not willing to move around at all. I mean, this guy's trying to make a break for it, maybe. Look at that. Look at that. Look at the mischief in his face, in his eyes. He's like up to something. You can tell he's up to something. That's not just digging the hole over here. But folks, again, this has been a joyous ride to the DLC. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have. I had a fantastic time with this DLC. I feel like we've added some very interesting new spaces and explored some very interesting topics as well from across North America. It's been wild. It's been great, and I hope you've had a good time as well. If you again have enjoyed this mini series, if you would like to see more like it in the future when more DLC drops for Planet Zoo, please don't hesitate to let me know by leaving a like and a comment down below. It does make a very big difference, folks, and just letting me know what you want to see on the channel. Again, like I was mentioning before, if you would like to see any of the countless other enclosures we've built for any of the DLC since the Aquatic Pack DLC, you can check it out by just searching on YouTube PartyElite and the name of the animal that you want to check out. And there's a lot going on, all kinds of fun stories and all kinds of fun construction projects, as it were, going down over here. But apart from that, we will be back to our franchise mode Let's Play as of next week. Might be a bit of a funky schedule to kick next week off because of some stuff going down. It'll all make sense next week. I can't quite talk about it just yet, but I'm hoping to stick to the regular schedule as we return to our franchise mode playthrough and start adding new animals to Elite Zoo South again. Folks, I hope you had a good time. Again, I certainly did. Let me know down below. Leave those likes, leave those comments. And as always, of course, a massive thanks goes out to all of the channel members and patrons who've been supporting the channel on a monthly basis. Y'all keep us alive and running smoothly. And of course, a big old thanks goes out to each and every one of you for watching. Until next time, cheers.